Hey, what's up, Pop Hearts TV? I'm Heather, and I'm here today with one of my favorite people to interview, Jet Jurgensmeyer.
Hey, hey,
Welcome.
hey. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing just great. It's good to be back here with you guys.
It's so great. Like we mentioned before we hopped on here, we have been interviewing you for, gosh, about 6 years now, since you were like 9 or 10.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a while, but it's also been a while since I've been interviewed by you guys
Yes.
because I think everybody knows why nothing was really happening for a lot of months.
Yeah, exactly. We've all been in lockdown and everything. How has your time been spent? Are you in Missouri right now?
So I'm actually in Nashville.
Nashville.
My mom and I are here in Nashville. My dad's up in Alaska at the moment.
Cool.
So I know he's having a blast. But I'm writing a lot this week, writing music. I actually have some people that I'm going to be writing with later today, and I'm playing a couple places while I'm here. But as far as my entire 2020 COVID time has been, we did spend a lot of it in Missouri. We drove from California when everything was starting to go a little crazy and stores shelves were starting to be empty. We drove back to our house in Missouri, and we've been going back and forth between here and Missouri a lot. And honestly, it gave me an opportunity to really focus on my music because live action stuff shut down for
Mhm.
quite a while.
Yeah.
The only thing that really stayed up was voiceover, and my dad built me a little recording booth in our basement, so I was able to do that from home. So that was really cool, and I still do it to this day. I think the one thing that this whole thing has kind of opened our eyes to is how we can do everything so remotely now, and that's really cool. It gives other people opportunities to get jobs that they may not be able to get for having to be in person. But like I said, it gave me a big opportunity to work on my music. I've been writing a lot, recording a lot. The album is so very, very close to being done. I'm
Can't
so
wait.
very excited. And what I told everyone that was around me when I released my album back in 2019, which feels like it was just last August, but it was 2019 in like August or whatever. It flew by. I told everyone around me, I said, I was only a writer on one of these songs. I want to be a writer on all of my songs. And that's exactly what I've done. I've been a writer on every song that we've recorded, every song we're going to record. And I'm to the point where I'm able to write songs for other people that some of my friends have recorded and songs that I want to pitch to people and things like that. So that is one thing that kind of was nice about 2020, I guess, in the nutshell, was that I was able to kind of work on myself, work on music, and kind of figure out what I want to do with my music.
Yeah, that's definitely the silver lining of all of this is we figured out how to do other things from our homes that we enjoy and we found things that we're passionate about. So I commend you
Absolutely.
on creating an entire album practically from your home. That is amazing. I cannot wait to hear the whole thing.
Thank
Uh,
you.
but we have an exciting thing. Compassion was just released.
Yes, yes, it was. I'm very, very proud of this song because I think it's a song that everybody kind of needed, especially during a time like the whole world is going through right now, COVID aside. I think that I hope me and my two other co-writers, Sky Corbin and Stephanie Joyce, I think when we wrote this, we really wanted to open people's kind of minds and eyes and kind of help them realize how they treat people, how they should be treating people, how they can help other people by being kind and showing compassion to others, which is something that the world needs right now. But actually, a funny story about writing compassion is we kind of had to sneak into a place to write it.
Oh my gosh.
So
Okay, I got to hear about this.
so so we were writing in like this lounge at this apartment complex that Sky used to live at. He did not still live there. And so he still had his key fob. And so we were like, well, it's a great place to write. We've written there in the past. Let's do it again. We were about halfway done with the song, and somebody comes up and she recognized Sky, someone that worked there. So she kicked us out. So she kicks us out, and we go down the elevator, and we're like, "Oh no, where are we gonna write?" And Stephanie says, "Well, I live right down the road. Maybe we could go there." And as we're walking, we walk by this other lounge that's kind of tucked away, that all the lights were shut off in. Maybe you can see where this is going.
Mhm.
Uh, so Sky goes, "Oh wait, there's another one back there." So we may have I don't want to say broken into, but snuck into with, is it breaking in if you have the key? You know? I mean,
That's a
maybe,
good point. It's a gray
possibly.
area there.
There's a gray area. So we went in there and we kind of tucked ourselves in the back corner, and we were literally whispering writing this song because we did not want people to know we were in there and kick us out, because we wanted to get it done, because we sat there for like 20 minutes talking about ideas, and we finally were like, compassion, that's it, that's the name of the song, that's the hook, that's a great thing to write about. So we knew we had to get it done right then and there. What we didn't know is that the lights in that room were on a motion sensor.
Oh my gosh.
And we were in a back room. The lights shut off halfway through. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going in an interview. And so this is by far one of the funniest stories, because I mean, people don't know what they think, like, oh, you sit down and you write a song. There's a lot more that goes into it. We may get in trouble for this. To this day, someone's going to come knocking on our door saying, you can't live here, or you can never come back to this area. So we basically sat in a dimly lit room, minus a couple windows, writing this song, because we just knew that it was a song that the world needed to hear. And we kind of fell in love with it. And at first, I didn't even think that it was a song for me, because I just felt like it was such a strong message. And I was messing around with it one day at our house. I was just kind of playing the chords, singing a little bit of it. And my parents were like, you need to do that one. That one's really good. Why are you not working on that? And I was like, I suppose I could. And so here we are. We sent the work tape to my producer, Butch, and he said, this is a great song. Let's cut it. And here we are.
I love it. I feel like this song too is the perfect song for you, because you are such a compassionate and caring and kind person.
Thank you.
And so I think it's just a great song for you.
I really do as well, because I'm a very positive person. I'm always smiling, as you can see, even on that little gray area. Yeah. I still had a blast doing it. All right. I don't know what that means, but it was a blast writing that song. You know, it was probably the most rebellious thing I've ever done.
I love always hearing like how people write their songs, and that has got to be one of the best stories I've ever heard.
Absolutely. People are going to be like, wow, you guys must have been like crying as you wrote this song. It must have been so hard to write such a song like this. No, not really. We were breaking into places while we wrote it. I don't know if that
we were avoiding security.
Yeah, we were avoiding security. It's the gray area. It's the gray area.
That should be your next song, The Gray Area.
That is so clever. That's a great hook. Oh, I have a writing session later today. I might bring that up. That's a good one. I like that.
It's so funny because you actually polled your fans on Instagram like a month ago about ideas for a song. What came of that? Did anything great come from their ideas?
You know, I think so. I have a list of my mom and I both, because she's a songwriter as well. So she and I both have a list of either titles or hooks, or maybe an entire verse that we thought of. And then, you know how Charlie Puth named his album Voice Memos, I believe he named it?
Yep.
I get that now.
Totally.
Because my entire Voice Memos is filled with just me like in a closet singing like a melody, because I don't want everybody else to hear me like sing a wrong note as I'm trying to figure out this melody that I got in my head. I just have to get it out, because so many times have I made the mistake of having an idea, not writing it down, not recording it, and then forgetting it. And I was like, oh no, that was such a good idea. Now what do I do? I always have like a notepad on me to write things down if anything goes awry and I can't use my phone or my computer.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a space or place you go that always triggers creative things? Like my thing is driving. Like if I'm in the car by myself, that triggers like every creative thing ever.
So one thing that I have noticed is that creativity can happen anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You like behind me, you can't really see it, but it says good vibes only on that pillow. That right there, that could be a hook for somebody's song. That could be, somebody could have this crazy melody that just sounds like a party, and you're like, well, good vibes only. There you go. So it can happen anywhere. I haven't noticed a specific place, because like I said, it just kind of hits me. A lot of times actually, I'll be sitting on either a couch or my bed, and I'll have my guitar in my hand, and I'll just be kind of like messing around with it and just be playing random chords. And I'll just come up with like a melody, and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. I need to record this? So then I'll have like a quiet little work tape in my voice memos of me going, just recording something. And I've actually written a song to that because I was just randomly playing my guitar one day and thought of that melody, and I brought it up to one of my co-writers. And that's kind of like just how 95% of my writes have happened, is just kind of random things create your creativeness in your mind.
Mhm.
And you never know, it can be anything.
Totally. Do you as Sky and Stephanie kind of go back and forth, at least for this album that you guys worked on, and talk about like, okay, here's my ideas, here's your ideas, kind of put them all together?
Absolutely. And this happens at every single write. One thing that I love about songwriting is I am great friends with every person I write with, and I text them on a regular basis. Everybody that's been a part of this album, everybody that I've written with in the past, everyone. And that's really what it's all about to me. And each time that I sit down, we spend 20 minutes just talking, just seeing how the other person is, seeing what they've been up to. And then we'll say, well, what ideas did you have today? Well, I had this melody that I've been stuck with in my mind, but I don't have any words for it. Or I have these words that I have no melody for. And a lot of times, everybody kind of has a different style of writing. I know people that will start a Google Doc and they'll just kind of throw up words on the page, as they say. And they're like, look, the page is going to look messy for like the first hour because I just got to get my stuff out there and we can kind of branch off of that. And I'm the kind of person, I like to keep my ideas and kind of say, okay, well, I like to put kind of like random things, or not random things, but more specific little words that you don't normally hear in songs. For instance, in Fast Forward, which was my last single, kaleidoscope eyes. That's not something you really hear.
Love that.
So there you go. So it's all about those kind of things to me. And as you can tell, I'm obviously a melody person by having my guitar always kind of playing it and thinking of different chord progressions. So there really are different styles of writing, and it's kind of interesting to watch them all collide, but it definitely is a group effort. Everybody just kind of, no idea is bad.
Totally.
Some ideas can just be kind of tweaked, and wow, that's great. And I've had that happen plenty of times where I'm like, this is so bad, but I'm going to say it anyways. And then somebody will go, oh my gosh, I've had this in my mind, but I didn't know how to get it out. This fits with that. So it's just kind of like a group effort thing that everybody does, just kind of throw up ideas and kind of throw them against the wall and see what sticks. And eventually you get a song.
Talk about working with Sabrina Carpenter again, because you guys worked together on Adventures in Babysitting and now on Real World. So what was that like? How did that come about?
So that was actually really, really neat. I'm actually surprised that you brought that up, because that was so long ago. So
hey, we've been interviewing you forever. Remember, we know these things.
True. That is true. So one thing that I've found interesting is I've never actually been able to write with Sabrina or somebody that's really in the LA area, because it's very different from the style of writing in Nashville. So here in Nashville, a lot of times we have a guitar. I have a keyboard over here. We all kind of sit down in the room. We kind of throw ideas out. Whereas in California, to my knowledge, they kind of do it more. They kind of produce the song right there and kind of record it all right there, which is something that I am fascinated with and I would love to do. And so it was amazing when we heard the work tape and the demo for Real World that Sabrina was singing on, because of course, anything with Sabrina's voice on it is going to sound amazing because she has a phenomenal voice. So hearing it, and it was the perfect song for my first album. It fit me. It was very positive. I think if I play that song live now, I'm going to have to change the key, because in case you couldn't tell, my voice has changed since my last album. That happened last year. That was very interesting when going to play live for the first time last year, when everything was opening up a little bit in Missouri. And I was like, I have to move my capo down on this song because I can't sing it where I used to. Yeah, that was an entire week of changing the keys to songs. But it was really cool being able to record a song by someone who's like an older sister to me. And one thing that was great about Adventures in Babysitting was we're all still friends to this day. We all stay in touch, and we all try to get together as much as possible. And Sabrina's parents have actually visited our house in Missouri when they were going back to their home in Pennsylvania for a little bit. So that was really cool, how the parents actually have remained friends. That is one of the hardest things to do on a set. The kids can get along because kids will be kids and they'll always kind of get along. The parents, it's very difficult to do, and you can't say that about every project, but you can about AIB.
Oh, I love hearing that. That is so amazing. What can fans expect from this upcoming album?
I think something that I like to say about my kind of songwriting and the songs that'll be on this album is that they're relatable. And I like to think that people of all ages will be able to think back to a time when they were my age and around my age, a young adult. I guess I can call myself that. I'm gonna be 17 in November. I can call myself a young adult, sure. I think I want them to be able to say I can relate to that. Just like Fast Forward, I think people can relate to that because everybody's been a teenager at one point in their life, and we've all wanted to grow up really fast. And it does, just because the song is about love in a sense and being with somebody, it really kind of is about everything. It can be about traveling to that special place or being in that position that you wanted to be in your whole life, doing that special thing you've always wanted to do. And it's all about wanting to fast forward to that, but at the same time, you gotta live your life. You can't fast forward to that. And then compassion, I would like to think everybody can relate to it by taking a step back and realizing, yeah, we could use some more compassion.
Absolutely. Switching gears, you wrapped up in May Fox's Last Man Standing after a few years that you were on it, but it was 9 seasons, I believe, for the entire show. Yeah. What was that like emotionally coming to an end? Are you going to miss it?
I absolutely am. One thing that I have found amazing about that show is the friends and family I've made of the fans of the show. The people who actually got the show picked up by Fox and got it brought back to television because it was done. And so they're the reason that it got back. And I have them to thank for giving me that role, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have had the audition and I wouldn't have been on the show. And I've made some great friends and family off of them coming to see us, and then them coming to support me by playing my music out places and coming to watch me and driving hours. We were in Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio a couple weeks ago. I was performing every day for 7 days straight and a bunch of sets throughout the day. It was quite a hectic, exhausting. It was a lot of fun. And I had friends who were fans of the show and basically kind of led the charge of getting Last Man Standing back on air. They drove, and my show wasn't until 7 one night. They got there at 10:30 in the morning and stayed the entire day until my show ended at about 10:30.
Wow, that's awesome.
The entire day. I mean, it was hot. It was hot out. There was no shade. They went through the park, and I was like, that is amazing. So I really have the fans to thank for all of the support that they've been showing me off of the set and on the rest of my career.
Yeah. What was your favorite memory from working with everybody there?
I think what I learned comedy wise, I'm a big fan of comedy. I'm a happy person. I love laughter. I love making people smile, and comedy is the best way to do that. And I think just watching Tim, I learned a lot from Christoph because he plays Kyle. He was the total opposite of Kyle. He was the total opposite of his character. When you see Tim, what you see is what you get with Tim. That is Tim Allen in a nutshell. But he can be a quiet person, and he can actually talk to you. And it's amazing that he'll talk to you and call you his friend. And he's Tim Allen. He doesn't have to be nice to anybody. That's Santa Claus. He was one of the nicest people. And I can say that same thing about Christoph, because he's the total opposite of his character. He was always on time, always on set, always working and going over his lines, making sure that he played Kyle to the best of his ability. And I loved sitting back and watching him work on his craft. And that was what I really learned from it, was kind of that it takes time. It does not happen overnight. People that want to be actors and musicians and whatever it is, it really applies to everything. As long as you're willing to put the time in, you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously done animated, you've done comedy, you recently did Ozarks, which is a drama. If you could choose your next role, what would you want it to be?
I've always said this. I would love to do a musical.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would absolutely love to do a musical. I don't know. I've just always loved him. I feel like it'd be the best way to combine my career.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your favorite musical?
That's a good one. Obviously, Grease is like a classic. Everybody
Classic.
loves
Yeah.
Grease. But I did grow up watching Disney and watching like the High School Musicals and things like that. And especially like Austin and Ally, which I was in an episode of Austin and Ally way back in the day for a New Year's special. And watching that show and watching Ross when I was in the schoolroom, watching him come back just drenched in sweat from going through dance rehearsals for whatever he was doing in that episode, and I was like, that is awesome. I want to do that. So I would definitely love to do that. I don't know if I can dance quite as good as Ross Lynch because everybody's seen him dance. He's a great dancer, but I will give it my best shot if I was needed to.
You could do it. I know you can do it because you
Yeah,
you
that's
can
the
tackle
motivation.
it all. I have no doubt you could dance.
That's the motivation I'm gonna need.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today.
Ew.
It is always a pleasure. I'm so happy we could reconnect. It's been so long. So good to have you today.
Thank you so much. It's been a blast. I cannot wait to see you guys in person.
In person.
Oh my goodness. I'm looking at the date. I am counting the days down when we can see each other in person.
It better not be 2023. That's all I can say.
Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, I might lose my mind by
I
then.
might.
I'm not gonna lie. I might lose my mind by then.
Okay, we're gonna put it out there that we will see each other in person
We will.
in 2021 or 2022.
Easy.
Easy.
Easy. Got it. Universe, please.
We got this.
There we go.
Thank you so much, Jet. We
Thank
will
you.
see you soon. Bye, everyone.